Hey, folks, thanks for your time. I'll try not to waste it. So, this is a bit of a follow up, for lack of a better word, of the Sackler family opioid epidemic piece story. And it'll be succinct because you and I both know that nothing is going to happen. You're looking at David Kessler, who was the head of the FDA in the 90s during the Sackler's first run of criminality. Who, by the way, if they were to make a movie of his life, could be played by Paul Benedict of the Jeffersons, right? I mean, that's right out of Central Casting. I digress. He, on Sunday, 60 Minutes, said that there are no studies on the safety or efficacy of opioids for long-term use. And yet, he allowed his agency to promote opioids for long-term use. So rest assured that nothing will come of the Sackler family individually to their corporation and their limited liability company. They'll probably have to pay in excess of $500 million fine, and life will go on. Unfortunately, not such the case for those whose lives were permanently changed. Allow me now to introduce to you Dr. Scott Gottlieb, who is the current FDA commissioner who turned down the 60 Minutes request for an interview because he apparently was way too busy with trying to, enforce mandatory vaccination laws countrywide. Listen to the language. FDA threatens to enforce mandatory vaccine laws countrywide. Federal government set to override state laws, force vaccines amid MSM-fueled measles hype. Right. The weaponized media present the hype. Now, I ain't no constitutionality scholar over here, but I'm not too sure that the federal government can just on a whim override state laws. I'm not completely sure about that, but if anybody knows, please leave a comment. FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb, and if you're thinking for a second that that's a Project Paperclip name, then you're racist and you shouldn't be on my channel. He warned Tuesday that the agency might have to step in and override state laws allowing unvaccinated children to attend public schools. Some states are engaging in such wide exemptions that they're creating the opportunity for outbreaks on a scale that is going to have national implications. If certain states continue down the path that they're on, I think they're going to force the hand of the federal agencies. The threat comes as mainstream media hypes measles outbreaks and continually blames anti-vaxxers for the spread of the infectious disease. So let me get this straight. It's the anti-vaxxers and the exemptions that are the cause of the spread of the infectious disease.
Fascinating.
Moving right along, Gottlieb looks to eliminate all religious and philosophical exemptions as he is reportedly deeply skeptical of anything other than a medical exemption. Well, good sir, I'm deeply skeptical of your skepticism. You could mandate certain rules about what is and is not permissible when it comes to allowing people to have vaccinations. It gets better. On Wednesday, top social media site Pinterest announced a ban on any vaccine-related searches, not posting of articles or studies or op-eds. You can't even search for anything vaccine-related. In a statement, Pinterest has blocked all vaccine-related searches on the social media platform in an effort to combat the misleading conduct of the anti-vaccination movement. A spokesman for the online pin board said it implemented the ban on the searches until it can come up with a more permanent strategy to tackle content attempting to discredit vaccinations. You know, for me, this is one of those line in the sand stories. And you'll notice, too, in other words, what's your line in the sand? What are you going to let them get away with until you start pushing back? So far, the subject of the possible mandate, is limited to school-aged children. However, if they're able to do this, then who do you think is next? So again, just something to pay attention to. Let's move right along to the next story. These won't be long. Google, Apple approve Saudi app that tracks women as slaves owned by their husbands, but bans independent media apps for being offensive. So again, just, the incredible double standard. The name of the app is Absher. The Sharia law tool apparently functions like a homing device for Muslim men to keep 24/7 tabs on Muslim women, ensuring that they don't try to flee their enslavement. Should a Muslim woman attempt to escape from her Muslim prison, Absher allows the male guardians in her life, whether they be husbands, brothers, or other male kin, to quickly track them down and retrieve them. And I'll tell you, I'll just read this last paragraph, because if you're a screenwriter looking for a little action, something you can sell very quickly to the Oprah Winfrey channel. Insider inadvertently spilled the beans about Absher's presence within the two major tech giants' app stores, telling the story of one Saudi Arabian woman whose careful and creative planning allowed her to subvert its features in order to escape her oppression. Unlike others who have tried but failed, resulting in their being beaten or worse, the woman in question was able to get out of Saudi Arabia and make a new home in Sweden. The end. And that's a ready-made script right there, ladies and gentlemen, if you're so inclined. Technical difficulties. Whoops! Now, I knew this would happen. So, this is I came across this a couple days ago. English, The Sun, I believe. So, I know it's tough for you to read. The headline reads, British music legend in cop probe over alleged sexual allegations, abuse of a minor. The singer, a household name who was idolized. So we're talking someone really that everyone knows, right? I thought for a second that but I think Bono's Irish, right? I thought maybe somebody was trying to, drop a little hint that, the U2 song, Can't Always Find What You're Looking For. Thought maybe they were just trying to stick one in between the lines there on me. But I got to tell you, there's a silhouette because the guy is unnamed as of yet. But my immediate, and I'm talking not first, I looked at this and you know who I saw? Phil Collins. And if I'm wrong, good sir, I humbly apologize. But looking at this silhouette, I know it's incredibly difficult for you to see. But, I mean, it wasn't even like a first impression. It was just like, oh, that's Phil Collins. And again, I'm looking for people who, it's a household name. Let's bring you this very quickly. So, say hello to Dr. Brian Hooker, the father of a son with autism. He holds a PhD in biochemical engineering. I believe this might go back to 2014. He was set to testify in front of Congress. He was subsequently denied access. However, here is a testimony. If you've an insatiable desire to read it all the way through, it's not that long. I will leave a link to this. However, for the sake of time and the information I want to convey, in 1983, there were 1 in 10,000 cases. 2008, 1 in 88 cases. We're talking autism, excuse me. And I believe in 2015, CDC published a report, 1 in 59. And now, drum roll, please. 1 in 36. So, how are we getting such, I don't want to say exponential, but I mean, such large increases within relatively short periods of time? I'm glad you asked. So I did a piece, and I'm not going to leave a link and go ask you to watch it. That's corny. I can really quickly sum it up. I believe the doctor's name is Jennifer Seneff, Seneff. Her credentials are at the wazoo, man. She's like E.F. Hutton. When she publishes a report, it would behoove you to pay attention to it. She did a study, I think in 2016-17, that came to the conclusion that glyphosate was responsible for people exhibiting the symptoms of ASD, children specifically. I don't know if someone is symptomatic that necessarily equates to one having the disease, but if you're symptomatic of a disease, I mean, wouldn't that necessarily mean you have it if your behaviorisms or your mannerisms are such that? So now think about this for a second, man. Between the neo-progressives who loathe America and the generation behind them, an entire subset of which will have a disease that they will need to be taken care of. Anyway, I'll leave you with that. That will end today's broadcast. Be well, be safe, know thy enemy.